Now I would like to welcome our social media. Thank you for being with us here this Sunday morning. It's a blessing to have you here with us. And now the inspirational reading that I have for you guys today. I got the inspirational reading online from an unknown artist or poet, and it goes like this, quote, "A meaningful life is not about being rich, being popular, being highly educated, or being perfect. It is about being real, being humble, being strong, being able to share ourselves and touch the lives of others," unquote.
Yes, and isn't that the truth?
And now I'm going to ask our lovely Carol to bring us a very inspiring piece of music.
Yes. The name of the talk today is How Do We Share Ourselves? And this song is going to tell you how you can share yourself. Put a little love in your heart. You know, with everything that's going on right now, it's hard sometimes, but let's try really, really hard to love our neighbor. You know, you don't have to agree with them, but you don't have to hate them either. Put a little love in your heart. Is that right? Think of your fellow man, give him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know we won't let hatred grow, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you, yeah, and me. You just wait and see. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope that you'll decide kindness will be your guide. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Yeah, the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me, and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart, and then give it to the guy next to you. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart, yeah.
Well, if your love was dormant, it sure got woke up. And now you know a little bit of what it feels like to be excited about life. My theme today is to begin to explore how we share ourselves, because the month of February is about, as has already been discussed, on the nature of love's gifts. February is not the only month of the year in which we pay attention to love. Of course not. At least hopefully not. But what I want to say in regard to that is that we need to, I think, at times take a little time apart from our outer life and the things that are going on in our outer life and pay attention to what that means at a much deeper level. And to set the tone for this, I want to read to you today a piece of writing that came from one of the great writers of the classic world, a man called William Shakespeare. Many of you in high school and in college, possibly even in graded school, participated in a play that was famous of his many plays called Hamlet. And this quote is taken from Hamlet. They are words from the mouth of Polonius, the father of a young man by the name of Laertes, and it is given in its entirety as follows. There my blessing be with thee, and these few precepts in thy memory. See thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with hoops of steel. But do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new hatched, unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but, being in, bear it that the opposed may be aware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy. For the apparel oft proclaims the man. Neither a borrower or lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend. And borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Unquote. How do we share ourselves? I want to divide that into three major categories and spend just a little time with each. First of all of us communicate with each other. So one of the ways that we communicate is through speech. And we learn to speak at a very early age. Some of us are better at it, some of us are not. Depends on all kinds of circumstances in our lives and our capabilities and talents and skills and so on. But one of the major ways of learning how to communicate with people is trying to influence or impress them, to persuade them for what you want someone to think of you. Just be yourself. Don't worry about what other people think about you. You don't have any control over that anyway. You know, when they show up in your life, they are as they are. They appear as they appear. It is never wise to really judge a man or a woman by his apparel or his outer manner of appearance. Remember, everyone, all of us, are connected to the same spiritual source, the same spiritual power. We don't always see that because when we look at an individual person, male, female, whatever, young, middle-aged, older, whatever, we have all these wonderful categories that we place people in. And we tend to make judgments about the categories. Have you ever noticed after you've met a particular person for a particular period of time, there's a part of your brain that goes, I wonder how old she is. What difference does it make? Or how old is he? What difference does it make? Now, I suppose if you're in a romantic time in your life, you're not necessarily looking for an octogenarian. Yes, that is a word. But I would imagine there would be nothing wrong with marrying an octogenarian. Would you think? Of course not. I actually remember a story, and at my age I have a lot of stories I remember, of a man in our home state, in Wisconsin, who was a man in his early 70s. He's like 73, somewhere like that. And he advertised for a young woman to come to his home to take on housekeeping and to cook and do that kind of work for him, for which he would pay an appropriate salary. Well, a young woman showed up, and as circumstances of life unfold, it developed into friendship and then into marriage. And they went to the city in which they lived, this little town, to the clerk of court to get a license to marry. And the clerk wouldn't give it to him. This lady said, you're too old to marry this woman. Oh, that didn't sit well with him. So he went to quote the authorities. And of course, it went into the news media. And you know what happens when things go on to the news media. The story gets twisted and turned, and he was made to be quite a monster, and she was an opportunist, and there were all kinds of negative things being said about her. But nothing had to do with the fact that they genuinely cared for one another. They loved one another. And they stayed married throughout the rest of his lifetime. It was a real love connection for them. And so all of the commentary that everybody had a chance to project upon was relatively useless because it really, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, it was none of their business. And secondly, it has nothing to do with the soul's connection and the work that the soul is doing in the world. So let us not be too concerned about appearances. Of course, our physical appearance is important. It's important to present ourselves well, clean, as the statement by Mr. Shakespeare indicates in what I quoted earlier. All of those things are important at the outer level. But forget about trying to impress other people. Just forget it. Other people have an impression of you before you can even put yourself into the place of imagining what a relationship might look like. There was some social research that was done about a dozen years ago that I ran across. I found it very interesting that women are very good at this. And after they have met a man, within the first 3 minutes of the relationship, they know whether or not he'll make a good husband or not. Okay? The first 3 minutes. That's not a long time. Now, the research was done on women. I don't know what it is for men. I think some of them take a little longer. Because it's not really for some of my gentlemen friends, they have to have Lady A and Lady B and Lady C and Lady D and then make, some kind of a multiple choice, which never works in our culture. The second thing I want to talk about today is remember that we are always communicating from the inside out. Our language is one thing, our words are another thing, but who we are inside is far more important than who we are outside. And that really means that we have to take time to know the man or the woman with whom we seek relationship, whether this is a brother, a sister, a partner, a friend, a husband, a wife, son, daughter, whatever the relationship may be defined as in the outer world. So many times we look at people through very limited eyes, very narrow eyes indeed. And we all know at this moment, and I'm not going down that particular path, what has happened in our country as a result of our political party division, how we take what is being projected out in the world of flesh and form as the truth. We wouldn't have in our culture, and you need to think about this, we would not have something like 2,000 conspiracy theories that people have access to explain what's going on in the world if we saw the truth to start with. So if we have to go to the internet to find out what's behind this man or this woman or this movement, we are not seeing the man or the woman, as the case may be, from a place of truthfulness. We need to drop the projection. Let it go. Let that go. And I will invite you as a congregation to go into prayer as much as you can, into a place of blessing all of the men and women that lead us, so that they may be blessed. See from the highest place in them and not from their limited perspectives, because we need men, women, and people of vision to lead us and to inspire us and to take us forward in this century. Remember, again, here in this environment and everywhere that you go, the inner part of you is communicating who you are, your behavior, how you dress, how you speak, how you engage with the particular men and women in your world. Every man, every woman with whom you engage is important. It doesn't matter whether you call them a partner, a wife, a husband, a lover, a friend, mother, father, son, daughter, all of those labels that we put on relationships. They're all important. They all have lessons for us to learn. The last part of my talk today is about acknowledging the gift of revelation that relationship brings to you in your life. Relationships always reveal something to us about ourselves. They always bring an awareness about parts or pieces of our own being that sometimes we know but we're not real comfortable with. And so this man, this woman comes into our life and begins to reveal things about ourselves that we don't always like, we don't always accept as being necessary. I call it the gift of revelation. Think of every man, every woman in your life as a person who is bringing the gift of revelation from his or her being to reveal the gift of shining splendor. Now, what does that mean? This sounds like fanciful poetic language. Splendor can reference our talents, our skills, our abilities, our accomplishments, can reflect in some way upon our education, our involvement, work-wise, professionally, or otherwise in the earth, service as we perform it to life, to the world, to the community, to the planet, in our profession, in our business, or whatever work we do in the world. It can come through an activity of volunteering. We talk about volunteers, for example, in this ministry. But every major organization on the planet is dependent on other men and women to spread the message, to take it to other men, to other women, to other people. And volunteering is one of the ways that you get to do that. Volunteering allows you to step outside your personal self and perform a meaningful service in the environment or the world in which you are involved. And that is part of talent. That's part of the splendor of your own being. There's a lot more that is going to be discussed about this throughout this month. I'm not going to elaborate more upon it today. I just want you to know, and I want you to remember that all of your talents, all of your skills as a man, as a woman, are important to you, all of them. Finally, sharing ourselves is a moment-by-moment, day-by-day experience. You know, there's a statement, a truth that's been offered, and that is that we can hide from ourselves, but we cannot hide from the universe. The universe is there to support us in our lives. So let's drop all of the pretense and all of the sham, and let us stand in our full splendor. That does not mean that you have to be dressed in regal attire. It means that you can wear your t-shirt and shorts, and your hair doesn't have to be combed, and you don't necessarily need to have had a bath. It might help, but it doesn't necessarily need to happen. It just means that you and I have to present ourselves to the world beyond what we want the world to see of our physical self, and more of our mental, spiritual, and total self. Remember that. Blessings to all of you. And now I'm delighted to welcome our children today. No, any children today? Okay, then we go on. To Carol.
I think Daniel's
you.
got a little announcement that he needed to make.
And I appreciate your talk on volunteerism, because that's what my announcement is about. I don't know if you guys noticed, but out in the lobby, the tithing table where the Ace of Diamonds was, got a lot bigger this week. And that's because our friend Jess was sitting at the other table, and she is there to accept your advertising dollars for the upcoming Psychic Fair showcase. In fact, we're not only, thank you, look at that, I got my own Vanna White. Not only that, but Jess has also written me a little something to read to you, because she's much more savvy than I am. And so what she says to me to say to you is this: do you enjoy talking to others? Do you love supporting the temple of the living God? Do you have 3 or 4 hours a week to speak with others? No experience in marketing is necessary, but a positive attitude is essential. So please see me or Jess after the service today, or even in the next couple of weeks. Psychic Fair doesn't happen until March, but it's right around the corner. And we're also looking for another individual to join us in this venture of finding new advertisers out in the public and broaden our reach to this community. So with that, I thank you for your time. And
Thank you.
And we have a lovely song to end the service with. In fact, this is our closing song for the month. So once you get used to it, it's not hard to learn. Sing in your mask.
Well, before you go into the final song,
yeah.
I have to tell you that it is always a great joy to have our ushers come forward, which I will ask them to do at this moment, to receive our love offerings. And let us pray at this particular moment. Infinite and radiant source of all life, we give thanks for the gifts of that which is holy and sacred in our lives, for our abundance, our prosperity that we share with joy and love in our heart with this ministry and the world in which we live. May all beings be blessed. May our gifts be blessed and multiplied. And we do give thanks. As we receive this offering, let us enjoy the music of Daniel and Carol. Thank you. God bless.
This is a wonderful Daniel Nahmod song called My Soul is Welcome Here.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Ooh, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be.
My soul is
Welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
I am
Getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
and so is yours.
My soul is welcome here. Yeah, yeah. My soul is welcome here.
My soul is welcome.
My soul is welcome here.
My soul is welcome.
My soul is welcome here.
My soul is welcome.
My soul is
here.
welcome here.
My
Yeah.
soul is welcome.
My soul is welcome here.
My soul is welcome.
My soul is welcome here.
My soul.
Happy Sunday, everyone. We'll see you at lunch.